Now, there's a word that shows up regularly throughout the Book of Mormon. The word is prosper. Often shows up in this phrase, if you keep my commandments, ye shall prosper in the land. Now, in our modern Western world of overabundance, we have more of everything than we could ever really fully make use of. We sometimes think prosper means, well, if I'm righteous, that must mean I have more money than everybody else, more cars, larger homes. And so maybe I could rank my righteousness by the size of my home. And do you really think that's what God is talking about? That he simply wants us to keep the commandments so that we can prove to others that by our wealth we're more righteous than people? That is absolutely not what it's about. The word prosper in its very basic sense, and if you go back into the Latin of what prosper means, it means to look forward in hope. And what I love about this is that what do we truly look forward to? God and being with him, salvation. That's prosperity. In fact, most significantly, what do we most want? We want God's presence with us. And if you look carefully at the use of the word prosper throughout the Book of Mormon, what the main point of that word is God promising his presence to be with us. And when we partake of the sacrament and we promise to keep the commandments and we promise to always remember Jesus Christ, in return, God offers us the sure promise of his presence in our lives. Every week, this beautiful ordinance invites us to keep the commandments, and in return, we have the promise of God's presence. Let me read one of the key elements of what we promise to God and what he promises to us. And it says that we will be willing to take upon them the name of thy Son and always remember him and keep his commandments which he has given them. So that's what we promise. And if we do those things, that's our willingness and our loyalty in the covenant. In return, they may always have his Spirit to be with them. What's powerful about this is that that is real prosperity. The prosperity is having God's presence. And as we keep the commandments, we will prosper in the land, and that is, we will have God's presence. Will God give us some of the good things of life? Well, we hope so, right? He wants to make sure we have our basic needs met. But instead of searching for the vain things of this world and having that as a sign of prosperity, seek after the presence of God, and you will experience real prosperity. So the call to action, as you're reading the Book of Mormon, when you see the word prosper, think about, how am I seeking and retaining the presence of God in my life?